The days when faith was all about good deeds. There came a time when I went to my mother and told her I had decided not to attend church anymore. My mother was deeply shocked and saddened when she heard this, and I can still recall the look on her face. I had a reason for making this decision despite the fact that I had always attended church, even when I was in my mother's womb. Around the time I entered middle school, I listened to one of our pastor's sermons and made up my mind that when I grew up I would live my life as a good person and help those who are less fortunate. So if someone said, for example, that they were going to visit an orphanage, I would go along with them without fail and pack up something to take along for the orphans. But then, one day, as I was walking out of the church after the Sunday service, there was a beggar standing at the entrance. He was advanced in years and seemed to have trouble walking. In his sermon that morning, our pastor had been talking about the importance of helping the poor and those less fortunate, and I wondered if this beggar had been sent by an angel. I quickly grasped his wrist and took him to the second floor of the church building. At that moment, a few church representatives had just finished counting the church offering money, and when they saw me with the beggar, their faces turned deathly pale with anger. They put a few pennies in the hand of the beggar and showed him to the door, closing it behind him. Then they turned to me and said, "You can't just give in to your enthusiasm rashly like that. There are elders here. How dare you bring just anyone in like that?" I was so deeply saddened and hurt by their coldness that I went to my father and told him I did not intend to go to church anymore. I asked him why on earth we even have churches and told him what had happened that day. My father chuckled and told me I would understand someday when I was older. After that day, I would go to the Buddhist temple every Sunday, and there I would set up a big easel and sit down and draw. I would draw images of the temple itself and of the devotees who would come and go. Sometimes the monks would even invite me to lunch. When the table was set before me, I would pray out of habit before I ate. As I sat drawing in front of the temple, I would hear the sound of the church bell ringing in the distance. The chime of that bell seemed to be calling out, "Heaven, heaven," and it left me feeling completely miserable, as though I had gone away somewhere all on my own. From the time I was quite young, I aimed to read more books than anyone else of my age, and with this goal in mind, I read more books than anyone I knew. But all those books I read played a part in distancing me from the Bible. I would ask myself why I should read the Bible of all books. It seemed to me that the Bible just dragged a person along to church every Sunday and prevented them from going anywhere that might be fun. After a while, I regretted leaving the church and began to attend again, if not with the same enthusiasm I had once had. I took part in the Christmas festivities, and that was when I painted the mural on the wall at the back of the church. It seems I was hoping that I might at least earn myself a seat in one tiny corner of heaven. One year, when I was a high school student, I made a firm resolution to put my whole heart into attending church regularly. Contrary to my resolution, however, I found myself troubled constantly by questions about God and Jesus. The meagre knowledge I had gained about society, the books of philosophy I had read, and the ideologies of famous great people kept making me question what the Bible was saying. So it was that one part of me was inclined to reject religion, but since I had been born and raised in a religious family, habit had firmly ingrained a religious nature in me. When I look back now, I wonder if this was what prepared my heart for later when I truly came to believe the Bible.